Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to look at Panasonic's RX5025. Very similar in many respects to the 5030 that I've already featured on the channel, so do please check out my other videos. So this particular one though, it's a handsome unit and it's quite well spec'd, to be honest. It's robust but portable, it's well spec'd but not overcomplicated, and I just think it's a cracky little unit. So I thought we'd take a closer look at this one today. It's a little bit dirty and I thought it'd be a nice opportunity just to crack it open, give it a deep clean, maybe service the tape deck, change the belts if we need to, and just have a look at what's inside. In terms of the features though, we've got a tone control on the top there, alongside the balance left and right as well, and a master volume. The functions are for tape, radio and a sleep mode. And then with regard to the tape itself, you've got your normal type 1 tapes, also plays chrome, so your type 2s, and even a switch for your type 4 metal cassettes as well. It has mono and stereo, as most of these units would have done, but it also has a third option there, which is called your ambience, and that claims to broaden the stereo imaging and give you an effect of being in a concert hall. Not my words, I think they come directly from the manual here, which, although multilingual here, is a massive book and lovely to have, with some of the original paperwork and stuff like that. So that's quite cool, do's and don'ts and how to use and all that kind of stuff. So that's nice to have with it just there. So the radios are 4-band. We've got long wave, medium and short wave, with the separate short wave fine tuner knob on the side, and the FM mono of course, plus your stereo with a telltale stereo light on the front, alongside your battery operation LED as well. For speakers, you've got your 2 woofers and 2 genuine tweeters, so it is a proper 4-way speaker system. The cassette mech has got regular features that you'd expect on a radio cassette recorder. It doesn't have an automatic search system or anything like that, but it does have cue and review, which is quite nice to have, nice little touch there. The counter is built into the display on the front, alongside the level meter as well. So all quite compact, very neat and tidy. In terms of external integration, you've got a 5-pin record and playback socket, you've also got a headphone out, you've got a speaker out, you've got external microphones in, you've also got 2 built-in condenser microphones as well. So yeah, quite nice features, to be honest. The aerial on this is original and it's got the black plastic tip as standard on there. You've also got some nice chrome ends on the handle. And just finally on the back, you also have the external mounting points for FM aerials if you live in an area without great reception. So anyway, there's a quick overview of the unit itself. Like I say, today I just wanted to have a poke around inside, give it a decent clean, refresh it and change the belts if we need to, and address any of the mech, sort of, you know, if it's got a dirty pinch roller or the capstan's looking a bit grim or anything like that. We'll get in there and sort that out and just give it a new lease of life, really. So I think that'll do for an introduction. Let's say we crack this open, get it on a towel of destiny and see what's inside. So here it is on a towel of destiny then. So the first thing we'll do is get this cassette door off and get the thing open. By the way, that's the top tip. If you don't know how to do these, if you don't remove that cassette door, you'll do one of 2 things: either pull your hair out in frustration or damage the actual transport keys. So you need to remove this cassette door with the tangs. Just be careful, the brittle tangs on the plastic just there, but that's the key. So with that done, we can turn it over, get the screws out, get the faceplate off. And with the screws undone, they won't always come out. Some of them can find themselves a little bit captive, so we'll just give them a little bit of a shake. Then we can remove the faceplate. We just unplug the speakers there and the ground strap for the radio board. And with that away, you've got your speakers just here. You can see your tweeters and your woofers, and then your little gear there for your cassette door opening, and that's about all. And so with the faceplate out then, we can see what we've got here is the main amplifier board just on this side, with your power supply just over here, condenser mics built into the sides, radio board of course over here with the ferrite rod antenna, and then obviously the cassette mech front and centre. So we've got good access here to the heads and the capstan and the pinch roller, and indeed the counterbelt and the motor as well. Now that motor got a little bit of play in it. You can hear that. Now the motor mounts do sort of give out after a little while. You can replace them, they're quite tricky to get hold of. You can put washers in there and stuff like that, but to be honest, that's only a little bit of play in that, so I might just put a little bit of hot glue in there just to settle it. There is an adjustment screw as well for the motor speed if we need it a bit later. So everything here is really easy to get to. It's beautifully laid out. I don't think in this occasion we need to remove the tuning gauge just yet, although I might give it a little bit of a dust. But yeah, it's not too bad at all. Everything's easy enough to get to. I can see 4 screws here, and they're beautifully coloured. They're like a rosy red coloured anodised, so we'll get those out. A little satisfying click there as well. I don't think this has been out before, to be honest. It doesn't look butchered or molested inside, so there we go, there's that little click again. So we'll gently lift the unit away. Now there is a multi-plug for, I think, the erase head, that one just there, and then we're tied by another one. Right, so there we go. Alright, so the playback head runs in a little groove along the bottom there, and then what else have we got? Okay, there's the record playback one. Marvellous. So the only thing that ties us at all now to the board is the leaf switch, which is just there. And I don't really think we're going to need to replace it, to be honest. I don't think we're going to need to remove it, I should say. You can't get it off there. It's glued, it's soldered to the board and glued in there. And we could potentially remove it. Yeah, it looks like it's pressed in or something. So I'm going to leave that alone. Let sleeping dogs lie with that one, I think. Good. Well, all in all, not bad. I've got to say, you get the usual discoloration on the pinch roller carriage, but to be fair, it's not bad. I think the roller itself is, yeah, it's got some bite to it. It's not totally plasticky, so we should be able to bring that back with a decent clean and some rubber renew on that. The counterbelt is just here, and that doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's working perfectly, so I think I'm more inclined probably, well, we might replace it. It's quite elliptical look. Yeah, I think we will put a new one on. I was going to say we might not need to replace that because it didn't actually seem too bad. Anyways, I'm just going to get a little bit of a protective cloth or something underneath, and we'll take a closer look at this side. So not a great deal to see on this side. Got the main drive belt just in here. Leaf switch, as I say, there. We'll give the grease a bit of a clean up and re-grease a little bit of that, I think. So this backing plate then, got these 2 screws to remove. Possibly these as well. Okay. Aha, and there's a spring as well. But I'm not going to mess with that. That's if you want to then just remove the flywheel, and we'll put a little bit of grease just onto the flywheel rolling bearing surface just there. We can see the idler tyres as well. Right, and there's the drive belt. Okie dokie. Well, you can see where it's been around the motor spindle. It's certainly quite deformed. It's got that kind of teardrop or guitar pick shape, which is quite typical of a belt that's been stood for a long time, because it sits around the flywheel and then around the motor spindle, deforms, and then as it runs, it's kind of got a little bit of bow and flutter as it kind of is wobbling its way around that part of the belt. So there are the two belts. So I'll get those replaced with some nice fresh round ones, and we'll give everything a clean and we can start putting it back together again. But what I'm going to do, I think, is clean up this bit, get the belt on this side and turn it all over, because otherwise we're going to sort of have plates and springs and stuff all over the place. So we may as well finish this side and get it back on. All I'm just going to do though, give this a bit of a grease, as I say, and the idler tyres, I'll just give them a bit of a clean with some IPA, get that back together, and then we'll turn it over, look at the other side. Okay, so here's the old belts. I don't have the correct size with particularly good quality belts to hand, so I've ordered those up. In the meantime, I do have two more belts which aren't the best quality in the world. They're okay, and they are new, so I'm going to use these for now, more just for demonstration purposes. It'll allow us to get on and service the Met, get it all working, and then in a day or two when the new belts come, I'll just whip them across, and then for the closeout shot at the end of the video, it'll be working with the proper belts. But for now, let's just get this all back together. So the first thing I want to do is just really clean up the grease and re-lube those parts. Also, I wanted to put a tiniest little dab of grease just on the flywheel bearing surface as well, and then we can get the main drive belt back on. So I'm just going to go through this now, get off any excess old grease, and just go back and gently touch in with any new grease where I feel I need it, and then it'll be a reversal of the removal procedure. Okay, I'm happy that everything's moving okay now. I am, however, going to clean the capstan though. Easy enough to remove on this unit, so there we go. Could just as well remove the flywheel to do this. So I'm just going to polish the ferrite off. You can see that it's coming away nice and clean. And I'm going to put the tiniest drop of oil just on the bottom end of the flywheel and feed that back through. I'm going to add a tiniest bit of oil just onto the motor spindle as well. Didn't particularly need it, but quite nice just to do that while we're here. So here's the first belt then, the main one. By the way, just now I did clean the actual surface of the flywheel around here as well. So we've got a nice bite now. So that side's done. We can turn it over now. Clean the heads. And we just get any oil off the capstan, just in case there's any on there from when we oiled it. And we'll go ahead and just clean up the pinch roller, which is pretty grim. Feels quite sticky though. I mean, it's got some good bite to it, but you can kind of, well, you might be able to see if it'll focus. It's in desperate need of a clean. So anyway, I'm going to do that, give everything a bit of a zhuzh, get in here, clean all the detritus off the transport controls, all that kind of stuff. Also, we can fit the counterbelt while we're here as well. Bit of a job for the tweezers. There we go. Good. That's working nicely. So there we go then. It's a little bit tricky to show you because it is tethered by the motor cable just here. But essentially we've replaced the main drive belt there, re-greased it, cleaned it up, lubed the motor. I've also put a couple of little dabs of hot glue on the motor mount as well, just to stabilise that. There was a tiny bit of play, so that's gone now. On this side we've cleaned it up, cleaned the heads, the capstan, cleaned the pinch roller and replaced the counterbelt. So like I say, I'll do this properly before the final reveal, but I just wanted, whilst I was here and everything was out, to show you how to do that. It'll be a 2-minute job for me in a couple of days when the other belts arrive to put the proper ones in, and then I'll just clean the front case, put this back together. It's exactly the opposite of how we took it apart, and then we'll have a final reveal. But first things first, I'm just going to plug it in and make sure that everything seems to be working properly. So we've got, let's put a tape in fact. Right, here we go. Okay, well it's playing nice and quietly. Let's just reset the counter. There we go. Good, that's advancing okay now. So we'll just, yep, pause is okay. Rewind is good. Fast forward is good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I won't screw it all down now. Like I say, we'll get the proper belts on, so next time you see me it'll all be put back together. But I just wanted to do that today, just while we had it apart, just to show you that this is how you replace the counter and the main drive belt on this. But anyway, I'll see you in a couple of days, i.e. the other side of the fade, and we'll just give it a quick listen. I've just interrupted myself because I thought it'd be quite good fun, just for a laugh, just to see how bad these cheap multi-pack belts actually are. So bearing in mind this is a brand new belt that's fitted now, if we do what we said we were doing before, which is fast forwarding, rewinding and all that sort of stuff, is working fine. Right, let's play it and see how bad it sounds. That's really bad, really bad. So if we put a calibration tape in, just to have a listen to, I'm laughing, I haven't heard this yet, I've literally not heard this, so this is going to be quite funny. Here we go. That sounds more like a fire engine siren or something than a standard sine wave signal. So yeah, that goes to show just how bad a cheap tape is, a cheap belt. So whilst it's tempting, guys, to use them, it's really not worth it. If you're going to go to the trouble of enjoying your music at all, don't scrimp and save. I mean, I use these I think I've said before, I've used these multi-pack belts. In fact, here I am today doing it. You know, I use them for just a sanity check on belt sizes. If the kits aren't readily available and you want to you think you know what the dimensions are, you've measured it, you've measured the belt path or whatever, but sometimes it's quite good to have cheap belts in there, just so as you know what size they are, make sure that the whole mech is working, that the tensions are correct and all that kind of stuff. But clearly, with regard to the actual quality of the finished item, that is not what you need. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that bit of fun with you. And like I say, anyway, quick fade, and I'll see you with the finished item, and you'll know whether or not the belts have been replaced, because you should really hear a difference. So here it is then, the Panasonic RX5025. What an absolutely gorgeous machine. I could sit here and lie and say, you know, this was really hard work, there was so much to do and it was such a mess and all the rest of it, and I've got to say, this has been an absolute treasure. From the minute I got it, everything worked, it was nice and clean, it's just been gorgeous. So yes, it did need a service, you know, the belts were perished, of course, I've got them here. You know, they were very misshapen and deformed, so that's only to be expected for a machine of this age. So really this was more of a show and tell as much as anything else. We've got the mech out, given it a bit of a service and a clean, put the new belts on, and given the whole thing a deep clean and polish, because it was very clean, but obviously it had many years of wear on it and dirt, so we did need to just get in there and get it gleaming. And I think you'll agree, it looks absolutely stunning now. So we'll just have a very quick listen to it as well. I'll put the radio on real quick.
Faulty software in the Post Office Horizon IT scandal, man.
And I can't play you too much for content match reasons, but as you can see, the FM stereo is working an absolute treat, and it really is gorgeous. So we'll have a quick listen to the tape as well. And what a delightful soft eject mechanism that is. So I just turned the mic back so you can hear me now, and we'll fast forward it. You can see the counter working nicely with a new counter belt on there. And the rewind, and play once more. It really is so nice, and the transport controls have got a really beautiful kind of weighted, heavy sprung loaded feel, but they're not sticky or graunchy, they just feel like new. The chrome is gleaming on this. I just think it's superb. As you can tell, I'm pretty much in love with this. I also am a massive fan of the RX5030 as well, which is very similar. So do check out my video on that one as well. But thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out some of my other videos and I'll see you soon. But in the meantime, stay safe and thanks for watching. Bye bye.